Peter Cetera calling for Dustin.
Hey, Peter, this is Dustin. How you doing today?
Hey, how are you?
I'm excellent. It's great to be speaking with you.
How you doing?
I want to talk about, all the stuff you got going on, but first, let's talk about the new Greatest Hits album, The Best of Peter Cetera. That's coming out here. Well, I think it's out now. Definitely something the fans will want to run out there and get.
Well, yeah, I mean, I really didn't have a lot to do with it. This company approached me to do something like this, and they picked a bunch of songs, and we kind of went over the ones I thought we could probably use, and, you try and pick, some of the ones that were out there in big hits, and then, you try and pick some of the ones that, are my favorites. So that's how we did it.
I imagine that must be tough to do, with the career you've had, because I'm sure there's songs that really mean a lot to you personally, maybe that weren't as big charting as some of the other ones. So is it tough to kind of narrow it down to fit on one album?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's always a bunch that like on this one, I don't believe we have "Living in the Limelight," which was a big song for me when I first came out with my solo career, and probably "Save Me," which was it's not on there, which was a theme for Baywatch in the second season. So yeah, it's always a hit and miss with myself and with other people about, hey, why did you put this on or put that on?
Well, yeah, I know you've had a lot of songs in films and TV shows over the years. I want to ask you about "Glory of Love." That song, such a huge hit, almost bigger than the Karate Kid film that it was in.
Yeah, I think it was probably bigger than Karate Kid because it was such a... Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of people confuse that with the Chicago song, and then, of course, it wasn't. It was on my solo album. But yeah, originally wrote that for the Rocky movie, and we had little problems getting the contract negotiated. So a few weeks later, the people from Karate Kid came looking for a song and changed a couple of words here and there, and that got in the movie. And, got Academy Award nomination and got to sing it at the Academy Awards and all that good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Is that usually how it works? Do the filmmakers come to you looking for soundtrack songs, or how does that work?
Well, strangely enough, that's how it used to work. Things have changed through the years, but yeah, they used to come, to a specific artist and say, hey, can you write a song for this movie? And that's the way it did work for years. I wrote that song, like I say, specifically for a movie. It wasn't the Karate Kid, but it was for the Rocky movie. I also wrote a song. I've had a bunch of hits and misses, but I wrote a song for the motion picture Big years ago, the Tom Hanks thing. That it always gets down to contractual difficulties. Basically, they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay you the money that you start out deciding on, and yeah. But I think things have changed now. Now they go, hey, instead of going, hey, can you get me a song that sounds like this? They just go, right to the source now. And in many cases, even now, you could see it's almost a dying phase of music to write a song for a movie now. It just really doesn't happen anymore.
Well, Peter, you're going into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, so obviously you've had many more hits than misses. I got to ask, we've had people on the show before, and a lot of times they feel like the Songwriters Hall of Fame maybe means more than the Rock Hall or Grammy Awards. Do you see it as that way?
I did. I thought it was a very important award, and until I found out, I was going to be on the road when that was going to happen, and I said, I really appreciate the award, and you could send it to me because unfortunately I'm going to be touring at that time, and they came back with, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Cetera, but we have a rule that unless you show up and participate in the show, we can't give you the award. And I said, oh, so what, am I uninducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame? So it's a very touchy thing, but I take it as a compliment that I was inducted, even though they have some kind of silly rule.
Yeah, that's too bad. I know you just went into the Rock Hall with Chicago last year, and it seems like
Uh-huh.
that kind of has some of that political stuff behind the scenes too. That
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what we just could never work it out. The Rock. Unfortunately, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has turned into a TV show, which is more important to them than making things work. And that was kind of another thing where I'm honored to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I said, I had some criteria, as did the old group, and we could never, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame wanted to disregard what I had to say and wanted to go what they had to say, and I just, at best, it wouldn't have been a fun evening because there's tension, and still, after all these years, there's a reason why I'm not in the group, and it's and people I know don't understand that. As same way I didn't understand why the Beatles broke up. You just
sure.
you just don't get what could happen with this synergy of a group, and it's like a bad marriage, and it's unfortunate, but that's showbiz.
Well, either way, it's the legacy you've left behind is still there, and it's great you're being recognized. And I know with all your hits and the songwriting awards over your career, the casual fans might forget that you're also a great bass player. Can you talk to us a bit about that and maybe some of your influences?
It's funny. I love playing bass, and as I did for all those years, and I still, in my shows now, I grab the bass at the end of the show. It's I just found at a certain point there was just so much going on musically to sing all these songs, and I just found it easier to hire somebody to play bass. And I had influences early on, but definitely people like McCartney were the biggest influence on me because he's the first guy I ever heard that played that melodic bass that I just really love. But throughout the years, you've heard a lot of great bass players, and they all influence you one way or another.
Well, you mentioned you're on tour now. Can you tell the listeners, maybe if they haven't had a chance to see you yet, what they can expect? I know you mentioned you play a bit of the bass at the end, and there's a lot of stuff to choose from.
I'm down in San Diego tonight. I'm playing at the San Diego, at the Del Mar County Fair. I do, I tell people this isn't a Chicago tribute. This is if anything, a Peter Cetera tribute show. And, I do a lot, not all of them, but, a lot of the songs that I've written and performed and recorded throughout the years, both with the group and, of course, my solo career. So we, at the end of the night, people are very, very happy, and we get to most of the songs that they expect me to sing.
Excellent. Well, again, I know the Best of Peter Cetera album out now, and you're on tour, but is anything else maybe coming up or anything else in the works?
Well, no, I'm always looking forward to doing a new project, and I'm waiting for the right time to do it. I have a couple of songs right now. I'm probably 3 or 4 songs that I'm finishing up to do for a new project, and looking forward to record a new album.
Awesome. Again, Peter, I'm a huge fan, and it's been an honor speaking with you today.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.